if you're not online, it can't find you. Like, that's just how people are searching for things these days. It's less word of mouth. It's more digital, and people will listen to what AI says. Having a digital presence is just increasingly important. Having AI is going to be just like having a working toilet.
You're listening to the Limitless Leadership Podcast, the podcast designed to help automotive repair shops learn how to lead, coach, train, and manage their team better by sharing proven techniques and thought-provoking interviews from industry leaders. Are you ready to transform your leadership skills by tapping into unrecognized potential to achieve limitless results? Let's get ready for liftoff. It's time to go from great to greater. Here's today's episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Limitless Leadership Podcast. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you need to on social media to help this podcast impact people and build leaders, just like the leader I have sitting in front of me today. In fact, she is not a first-timer on this show. She's been on the show before. Jacki, I should have asked you for your title, but Jacki Lutz is with the Auto Care Association. She is a friend of mine and a tremendous difference maker and impact maker in this industry. So Jacki Lutz, thank you for being here again.
Thank you. I think that I would love for that to be my title, frankly.
Okay.
Maker, that could
Awesome.
be my new title. No, but
That's
I am
it.
the content director at the Auto Care Association. So cover their podcast, manage their social media strategy, their video strategy, and anything else that they throw at me content-wise.
Awesome. And you crush it, and you have been. And so I'm excited to have you back on the show. I think we met about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and you've had a lot of awesome things happening. I mean, I see you on social media. You're traveling a lot. You're doing a lot of speaking, and the podcast, of course, is going really well. So, if you would, we're going to get into that. But if you would share with the audience who you are, what you do, and how you do it before we get into all that other stuff.
Sure.
Promotive is tackling one of the toughest challenges in the automotive industry, finding and hiring great technicians. Their team is built from people who know the aftermarket, understand technician roles, and recognize what actually makes someone a strong, long-term fit. Promotive builds recruiting pipelines for the shops they support. They uncover talent you won't find on job boards, run intentional and structured screenings, and guide candidates through interview prep and communication so shops can make confident decisions. Shops choose Promotive because of their process creates consistency, momentum instead of waiting, clarity instead of guesswork, and a partnership instead of a transaction. If your shop is hiring or preparing for growth, head to gopromotive.com. You can schedule a discovery call, submit your openings, and see how Promotive supports shops nationwide. All right, folks, as you know, great leadership isn't about doing everything the best. It's actually about having the right partners in your corner to build your shop's success. It's about putting the right team in place. It's about choosing the right vendors to make you a pro, making pro moves. And when I think about the pros, I think about shop marketing pros. The know, like, and trust factor, that's a real thing. And Shop Marketing Pros understands that. That's why I want to recommend Shop Marketing Pros to become your marketing partner in your shop. They get to know, like, and trust you and your business to then help your audience get to know, like, and trust you too, and bring your shop to the next level. So when I talk about making pro moves, this is the kind of move I'm talking about. This is the kind of standard-setting partnership that's going to elevate your shop. So if you're ready to become a pro in your shop, visit shopmarketingpros.com and partner with the best.
Like we mentioned, I'm with the Auto Care Association, so we really cover the entire automotive aftermarket, which is everything from the shop level all the way up through the distribution channels, all the way up to suppliers and any service providers along the way. So really a huge footprint. And, a lot of that is our biggest thing we do is advocacy. So right to repair, big in the news these days, but that's something that is probably, it's our number one priority. But we also help with other market intelligence. We have a lot of services that we provide. And then my specific job is the content director. So really trying to educate our industry, using content to inform the industry, also solve problems. So, things like the tech shortage and things like that. Trying to get the word out, trying to make our industry look very attractive. Getting conversations started that need to be had, and really engaging with our members. So that's where the podcast has been really helpful. We're always getting new members, people that you're not used to hearing from. And then also people that you are used to hearing from, but getting them to talk about other things too is kind of fun. But just getting our members more engaged with us is kind of what I do. And as far as how I do it, I think it's kind of a day by day thing. It feels like it's constantly morphing. As you probably know, Josh, I feel like content today is different than content a week ago. It feels like it's just something you just have to stay on top of. And it's a lot of work, but we talked earlier, loving my job. I love what I do. And it's kind of almost like a hobby that I get paid for at this point. So just staying on top of things and really trying to find not just new ways for the Auto Care Association to get the word out in a, sometimes entertaining way, sometimes informational way, but also help our members do it better. I really believe that the Auto Care Association really wants to set the bar high for what content should look like in our industry and hopefully bring our whole industry up, see our industry start to kind of succeed online. I feel like we've always been a little bit behind on social media. So helping our industry be seen and heard and hopefully become a very attractive place to be.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think you're doing a great job of, for lack of better terms, laying the foundation and really pioneering what it should look like from a content creation, from brand building, storytelling perspective. You've been a phenomenal digital presence for the industry. Talk about what it's like if I say digital presence, and the importance of a shop owner and a shop having a digital presence. What does that mean to you?
Digital presence is funny because I don't think everybody realizes how important it is these days. It's different now. We used to say for SEO and probably, I don't know if your audience would even know what that is, but it used to be search engine optimization. It was Google. So if somebody were to go on Google and be like, where should I get my car fixed? Or I'm a technician, where should I work? I'm in this area, and you would want to somehow rank on Google.
Mhm.
And the way to do that was like keywords. So you would want like your website up there, right? And then you'd want to make sure there was a certain keywords so that you would rank high in Google. That's still important, but it's even more important for AI these days. So, I could think of 100 reasons, but just one of them, say there's a new technician looking for a place to go and you need technicians, right? You need good technicians. It's important that if they were to type into ChatGPT or something, being like, hey, I'm new, this is the career path that I want, this is where I live currently, how much should I be making, who should I look at to work for, asking all these questions. You want your shop or you to come up as a good, leader, or a good mentor. You would want to have the right digital presence so that ChatGPT can find you, basically. And that goes with any AI agent. But even in the reverse, if you're looking for technicians, it's important now for technicians to have digital presence, because if you're not online, it can't find you. Like, that's just how people are searching for things these days. It's less word of mouth. It's more digital, and people will listen to what AI says, right? So if you haven't taken any time to think about what you're putting out online or what it knows about you, then you kind of don't exist in that world. And that's not a great place to be these days. And honestly, it's only going to get more important. It kind of feels like, it's like the internet, right? People waited to jump on the internet because they're like, well, let's see if this sticks. I think
Yeah.
we're really far past that with AI. I think it's obviously here to stay. So it's kind of this new world that it doesn't matter blue collar, white collar, whatever. AI is in every area of the business, every area of any business anywhere. It's coming if it isn't there already. So having a digital presence is just increasingly important.
Leading a shop can be isolating, especially when you're trying to grow and still take care of your people. The good news is you don't have to piece it together alone. TechMetric is the all-in-one platform built for shops and growing operators who want less chaos and more clarity. Shop management, integrated payments, and built-in marketing all working together in one place. No bouncing between tools, no syncing issues, no missed opportunities, just a cleaner operation, a stronger customer experience, and a business that's built to grow. See how it works at techmetric.com or use the link in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by Limitless Leadership, because great teams don't happen by accident, they're led on purpose. If you're tired of wearing all the hats, putting out fires, and wondering why your team won't step up, Limitless Leadership is for you. They help leaders transition from player to coach, who develop people and multiply impact. Through in-person or online leadership training like the Limitless Leadership Blueprint or their Roots to Results coaching method, their services are designed to help you tap into unrecognized potential to achieve limitless results and help you create safety and trust in order to provide clarity and direction. So if you're ready to stop managing chaos and start leading with purpose, head to limitlessleadership.co to book a complimentary discovery call today. Jacki, I could not agree with you more. And when I think about AI, I think a lot of people are reluctant. They're hesitant, maybe scared of what AI is doing, is going to do, how it's going to affect them and their future, period.
Mhm.
But I think to your point, AI is here to stay. Whether we like it or not, it's here to stay. And and help me understand. I mean, this is my opinion right now, and it could change, but I just believe that AI it could be our ally
Mhm.
versus our enemy. I mean, we could look at it as a bad thing, or we could look at this as an opportunity to learn how to use AI, how to leverage AI to get ourself and our shop or our business further than a competitor. What's your take on that? What are your thoughts on AI in general in terms of an ally or an enemy, if you will, and then like what direction should we be going in?
It's so hard because it feels like AI just feels like something that it feels like out of your control, right? Like we have all seen the movies, right? Where AI goes wrong and yet we're like sprinting
Yeah,
in this direction and nobody's
yeah,
talking about like, okay, how much is too much? I think that's a question that no one's asking is like, when do we draw the line? When do we
mhm,
lose all of humanity? Like your brain can go there because we've seen it, right?
that's
And
right.
and when we saw those movies, that was like 20 years ago, where that felt like it was like, that's not going to be my generation's problem, and that's not going to be my kids' generation problem, right? Um,
Yeah,
but now it's here, and the technology curve with AI before AI was steep, and now it's
hmm
just, like, vertical, and it's just
yeah,
getting more and more, and it can get really easy to get caught in your head and, full of anxiety around it, but, at the end of the day, I think it's important that everybody stay calm and, try to find ways to help AI work in your favor. All your competitors are doing it, so, you have to get on board now, and just think of the ways that it can take some of the mundane things out of it, you know?
mhm,
Um, I think the blue collar world, in my opinion, is the safest place to be as far as right now, as far as, being replaced with AI. But
yeah,
think of all the other things that you're spending time on that isn't making you money necessarily.
mm,
Even things like social media. I'm sure that that's not, what people went to school for, who are currently in, the blue collar world, for example, but it's something that kinda needs to be done at the shop level, and, like, who does it? Who learns about it? And then if you're not gonna do it well, is it even worth doing, right? Where
yeah,
AI can really help you formulate a plan, can help you, schedule the post, make the post, write the post, like, do things like that, to help engage your community, to help, you have more presence. The digital space is where you can go one-on-one conversations, one customer at a time and building your reputation, or you can reach thousands and thousands and thousands if you do it right, and really become, a trusted place if it's done correctly. And AI can really help you do things like that. And I think that's just one example, but there's many of, if you think about the things that you're doing every day that feel mundane or you don't even enjoy doing, or you don't have anyone to do them, so they're kind of done, they're not wholeheartedly being
mhm,
done and not really helping as much as they could. Those are the spots to be thinking about AI today. Don't worry so much about what's happening down the road. You can't control it.
yeah, good
Sadly,
point.
but, you just have to work with what you have today, and today, I think AI should be an ally for everybody. I don't think it's anybody's enemy. It's just we have to figure out how to work with it. I had, somebody on my podcast, Jay Bear. He's a pretty big name in the marketing world. And he said something I thought was really interesting. He said, in 5 years, I think it was 5 years, 2 years maybe, very few years. He said, with in any business, having AI is going to be just like having a working toilet. And I was like,
Oh,
"What do
wow.
you mean by that?" And he goes, "Well, if you think about it, the toilet as we know it today has only been around for 60 years, something like that. Um, and he said at the time, and you could put a sign on your door at your business and be like, hey, we have, modern toilets. And that was like a thing, like that was a pull for people. Where now it's like, yeah, that's kind of an expected thing that you would
Yeah.
have, right? And that's what AI is going to be. It's going to be like, yo, you have electricity, you have, running water, and you are working with AI. It's just like, it's just something that it's just going to be so integrated into our lives that it's just going to be like, it's not even going to be a selling point anymore, right?
I
Um,
believe that. I mean,
yeah,
like what business can you think of that doesn't use the internet? But
right,
when the internet came along, it's like, whoa, hold on a second, what is this thing?
right.
And yeah, but here we are.
Or having a website, right? That
Yeah.
wasn't always a thing for everybody, or having a social media presence. I remember when I entered this industry, people were still asking like, we're a business, why would we need social media?
Mm,
Right? So that was just probably 15 years ago where that question was still being asked. And now it's like kind of everybody has it because they realize how important it is. And that's where the world is going with AI. So it's important to jump on now before you have to catch up.
yeah. It's wild to think how quickly things progress, things move. I mean, you're talking about 15 years ago, people were asking why, if I'm a business owner, why do I need a social media presence? Well, now it's like, I'm a business owner. Of course I need a social media presence. Like
Right.
it's understood. I mean, what, 15 years ago, podcasts weren't really a thing. And now everyone's got it. But you and I both have a podcast. It's
Right.
like everybody's got a podcast now.
Yeah.
But even a few years ago, think about the updates and the progress that we've seen AI make in 3 years. It is scary. It's scary how much, evolvement, has occurred in just a short amount of time. So I
Hmm.
can only imagine how much exponential growth we're gonna see in 3 more years.
Yeah. And
So, pretty wild.
um, again, it's hard. It's hard for me, as to stay in the moment and just think about, okay, where we're at today. I literally cannot think that far ahead without doing a little bit of a spiral. And I know everybody feels that way. You see, if you're on social at all, you see how people are already starting to put like AI agents into robots, right? And I was talking on a different podcast about AI. It was like practical AI, and I was like, how long do you think before you're registering for your wedding, and instead of being like, this is the pots and pans I want, or this is the air fryer I want, you're like, which smart home robot do you want?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? It,
Wow.
that's where we're probably
I
5 years,
think
right?
you're right.
When you think about like the little vacuums that go, the robot vacuums,
Yeah.
already kind of a use of AI, and just wait until you can talk to it.
Yeah. Wow.
It's coming. It's kind of wild.
It is kinda wild.
But think
Kinda
about the
wild.
people who, you're mopping shop floors. Like, what would you rather be doing with your time?
That's a
Maybe
great
something
point,
that makes
Jackie.
you a little bit more money.
One of the things that I talk about often in trainings that I do is what I reference as the 3 pillars of leadership, and one of those pillars, I believe, is creativity and innovation.
Mm,
And as adults, we're really not wired to be creative. In fact, we non-creative behavior is actually learned. Like, as a child, we have wild imaginations. I know you have a couple young boys, and they've got wild imaginations, right? I mean, you can see the creativity in them. But what happens is we go to school and we're told what to learn, not how to learn. No, Jackie, don't learn that. Learn this. Don't do
mhm,
that. Do this. And it's like, look, we've already studied this. We've already done the research. Just do this. So stay in this lane. Stay in this box. And what happens is we are, um, the creativity that we were born with, like we're born limitless, but the creativity that we're born with slowly starts to fade because we're constantly just given directive after directive after directive, without allowing us to be creative and innovative. And by the time that we're, 17 years of age, we're going to hear the phrase, no, you can't, on average 150,000 times.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Conversely speaking, we're going to hear the phrase, yes, you can, only 5,000 times. And so what we've learned over the years is that non-creative behavior is learned, and there's a popular TED Talk. In fact, it's the most popular TED Talk of all time by Sir Ken Robinson, and it's titled "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" And what he identified was that they do in fact kill creativity. And as adults, we are trying to be forward-thinking leaders, which means that we're trying to be creative and innovative, but we lost that skill set years ago. It was actually it was like practiced out of us. And
Mhm.
so, so now for us to learn new things, especially things like AI, which is just so far ahead of what feels like our time, and we're not ready for it. We don't know it's like a change is going to come and we don't know what to expect. And so we're exercising fear over faith and all the things. And now the reminder is, hey, by the way, as a leader, leadership is a full-time job. So now you've got to figure this out along with all the other things.
Mhm.
Help the listening audience. And by the way, if you're listening, you can watch this episode. If you go to YouTube at The Bearded Leader, you can watch this episode as well. But help the listening audience um, maybe understand and identify how how do we lead through all of these new things that we just don't know yet.
Mhm. I think it's by example. I think, there's a lot of fear around this. I think through every level. Anyone I can talk to, I talk to CEOs that are, think about and have concerns around AI. I had a interview with my 18-year-old niece, who job shadowed me at one point, and she was talking about how it almost feels like people that generation coming up into the working world and having to make decisions around what they want to be when they grow up and what kind of schooling they need and things. It's like there's hesitation and they're dragging their feet because they don't want to go to school for something and then have it be
Mm,
redundant.
erased. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think stepping forward, embracing what you can, looking at your business at a strategic level and being like, what problems do I have today that AI can solve for me?
Hmm.
And be that example to your team, is one of the best things you can do. I think when I see my leaders leaning into AI a little bit, which is scary because also, even me, I'm leaning into AI a lot in my job. And there is a part of me that's like, I'm about to replace myself with AI if I'm not careful, right? Like, at what point do they not need me anymore because I did my job so well that they can pretty much do this for free with AI?
Yeah.
It's a very real thing, but I think leaders leaning in and looking at the real problems that they have and where AI can come in and make their customer experience better, make their employee experience better, and get them more revenue at the end of the day and solve the gaps in their own business. I think that's very encouraging for other people to think differently too and to look at things through that lens and how they can use it today and in ways that actually just makes them more productive. I think use of AI is a creativity exercise in itself. There's a lot of ways, there's a lot of software, new ones come out every single day. And it's the people that lean in that are going to be surviving.
I think you just said something that's really key. It's the use of AI is creativity and innovation in itself, which is a powerful phrase to share. Something I see in you, Jackie, that I just want to highlight for a second is someone who is. I mean, you've got a perma smile on your face every time I've seen you. You're always positive, positive energy. You have an infectious personality that I think people really gravitate towards, and I think that's important because when I see the way that you carry yourself, the way that you lead your peers and lead those around you, like people see you and they're like, I want to follow her. Like that is someone who I want to follow. And the reason I want to say this, and I want you to hear this, is because it's easy for people to get flustered or stressed about the things that they don't know. It's easy to get have anxiety over the unknown, and change is hard for people. But you're someone who it's important that we have people like you in our industry who are carrying the torch and saying, I'm going to just figure it out. Like I'm going to do what I can. And you've already alluded to this twice now. You're focusing on what you can control and you're essentially not, trying not to worry about what you can't control. And I think that's important. So I just want to highlight you for a second and say thank you for that. I think that's great. That's a one um, incredible attribute of a leader, and you possess that.
Thank you so much for saying that. I will say that um, I had a realization a few years ago. Actually, it was when I got laid off from my previous role. So that was probably 3 years ago now. Um, almost every time something has shaken my world, it has also provided opportunity. Like,
Mm,
yes, it provided a lot of hurt or a lot of fears and a lot of other things along the way, but at the end of the day, when you look back at it, you see you see the direction it led you in, right? Like, I
yeah,
can think of things all the way down to my teens of bad things that have happened, but because of that, also some good came out of it. And
yeah,
so even when I worked for a company and a bigger company came in and bought it, there was a lot of people, it was like a fight or flight kind of thing. A lot of people flew away. They're just like, this is too much change for me. I'm out. I was one of the few that were like, I don't know, this could be opportunity too. What are we out for giving it a try, right? Like,
yeah,
and because of that, it was a bigger company. I was able to have opportunities to go to a global level and manage global teams and see the world and do all this other stuff that I never would have been able to do had that purchase never happened. And I think of any challenge now or any huge change, whether it's in the world or AI, something like that, or even in my company, lean in, try. What's going to really hurt at the end of the day? What's going to hurt is if you end up getting behind and then your competitors are wildly ahead of you. And at that point, it's a lot more work on your end. But if we just lean in a little bit, have a little bit of faith that it could turn out good, I guess is the optimism that you're referring to.
yeah.
To me, it's like you either lean in or you have to bow out. So,
There's power in having an abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, and it's very evident that you have an abundance mindset. Things that happen to us in our life, we can always say like, "Well, this happened to us," or we can say, "This happened for us." And even as I'm sharing it, I realize I just said things that happened to us. But I should have said things that happened for us, because the reality is, life does happen for us, not to us, and it's an opportunity for us to recognize, like, for me as a faith-based person, Jackie, I would say like God, what are you teaching me? Like it's not a why me, like why is this happening to me? No, like what are you teaching me? Because
mhm,
everything that you have referenced, or everything that you referenced just now, I'm hearing you say like, look, these were lessons that I learned and I grew from, and I thought with an abundance mindset over a scarcity mindset, and because of my way of thinking, because of my perspective, with perspective, the way that we view things drives the way that we do things. Because of my perspective, it allowed me the opportunity, not an inconvenience, but allowed me the opportunity to go and achieve bigger and better things.
mhm,
So there's power in how you think. And we know that thoughts dictate feelings, feelings dictate actions, and actions dictate results. So if
yeah.
anyone is listening or watching this episode and you're not getting the results that you want to achieve, what if we go back to the thoughts that you're beginning with and start challenging those thoughts and questioning those thoughts? And that's what it seems like you've been doing for years. So again, I applaud you for how you do things.
That's such a good way to look at it, and honestly, I'm a faith-based person too, and I think that that's actually a bigger part of it than,
Mhm.
I would have said out loud, is that at the end of the day, I'm really not in control of any of it, right? So you can
Yeah.
either have faith that somebody is or, it's really easy to spiral, like I keep saying. So it does help to have that base in faith. And I know that's not something that everybody has, but um, it's a huge part of the world these days. I think believing in something a little bit bigger than what is happening here helps a lot with these thoughts and these conversations that we're having.
I agree, and I think you made a good point. Not everyone has faith, but we do know that everyone has fear, and where there's faith, there's fear. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a cause for faith. So, consider that if you're listening or watching, and you're questioning things or you're starting to wonder, just know that the similarity between faith and fear is that they both believe in a future that hasn't happened yet.
Oh, wow.
So, why
Yeah.
wouldn't we choose faith?
Oh, I love that.
Jackie, my last question for you before we go, on the last episode that we had together, again, year and a half, 2 years ago, something along those lines, I asked you, what is the best advice you've ever received from a coach or a mentor? This time around, you are the coach and the mentor. I'm going to ask you to share, what is the best advice that you can give to our listening audience?
I think it's something we kind of already said, but control what you can. I think that that's really important these days, and I mean that in a lot of ways. Yes, I mean that with AI and other things happening in the world and feeling like things are just out of your control. I mean it in that way, but I also mean it personally. I think that's why I do so many talks on personal branding and digital presence, because I usually end those conversations with a photo of a video I took after I got laid off, basically saying, I'm looking for work, next to a photo of me drinking champagne 2.5 months later because I got hired. And just saying, like, at the end of the day, you can't control your company, right? You can't control the economy and different decisions that they have to make. You can't control whether or not AI takes your job, things like that. But what you can control is how the world perceives you. What's your reputation? What are your values? Do you live those out? Do people know about them? What have you accomplished? Have you ever mentioned it to anybody, what you've done in your career? Have you put it online so that if somebody is searching for a specific opportunity for somebody, that you pop up, And that's why I think personal branding is so powerful. It's because it's something that you can control and that you can build for yourself and only for yourself. And it doesn't belong to any company, doesn't belong to anybody but you. And you have it forever. And I believe the same thing with your digital presence. There's a lot of control over that. So I would say, in a lot of ways, just controlling what you can is an important skill, and being able to see what you can control and what you can't, and not to take all your brain power thinking about all the things you can't control, and instead channeling that energy to something that you can and building something really great.
Wow. Jackie, if you have a mic over there, can you just pick it up and drop it? Because I think that was a great way to end this episode. That was so good. Well, Jacki Lutz, thank you for being here. Actually, before we go, I do want to give you the chance to share with our audience. If anyone is interested in getting in touch with you, how can they find you? How can they get involved with the Auto Care Association? And also, where can we find your podcast, Carpool Conversations?
Sure. Thank you. I'm on LinkedIn, just Jacki Lutz. That's where I play the most, and I do a lot of the personal branding kind of stuff. I'm also on Instagram, do a little less personal branding, but more automotive stuff on there. Having a lot of fun learning Instagram. And the Auto Care Association, you can learn more about that at Association. Oh, sorry, autocare.org. Sorry, I'm about to give you the wrong web address. Autocare.org. You can learn everything about that. And then the podcast. We are everywhere you can get podcasts. YouTube is probably the best place to find us. And that's at the Auto Care Association's page. So if you scroll down, you'll see the podcast, but it doesn't have its own page. So you got to go to Auto Care Association to check out that YouTube page.
Awesome. Great podcast, by the way. And this was a great episode. So thank you for being on the show yet again, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a second shot at this. This has been fun, and I love watching everything you guys are doing. You guys are doing awesome. You're everywhere all the time. It's so good to see.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Limitless Leadership Podcast. As you know, we look to transform our leadership skills by tapping into unrecognized potential to achieve limitless results. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. Don't forget to smile today. Tell your loved ones how much they mean to you. I'm Josh Parnell, reminding you to keep leading well.